Ever wondered how some of history's most brilliant minds met their bizarre and tragic ends? From being crushed by a falling tortoise to dying of laughter at their own jokes, the stories are as eccentric as the individuals themselves. Picture a wrestler devoured by wolves, a philosopher buried in manure, and an emperor succumbing to Mercury in pursuit of immortality. Join me on a journey through time as we explore the peculiar and sometimes downright unbelievable fates of these remarkable figures. Welcome to Fates Unveiled. Number 1. Died of laughter. The Stoics, often thought of as solemn figures, actually had a sense of humor. In 206 BCE, philosopher Chrysippus, aged 73, laughed himself to death at his own joke. According to Diogenes Laertius, he saw a donkey eating figs. He quipped, "Now give the donkey pure wine to wash down the figs." He found it so amusing that he laughed until his last breath. Even the serious Stoics knew how to crack a good joke. Number 2. Death by falling tortoise. Aeschylus, often hailed as the father of tragedy, holds a significant place in history as one of the greatest playwrights. In 458 BCE, an unusual and tragic incident occurred leading to his demise. According to Valerius Maximus, Aeschylus met his end when an eagle, mistaking his bald head for a rock, dropped a tortoise on him. Another account by Pliny suggests that Aeschylus was outdoors at the time due to a prophecy predicting his death by a falling object, causing him to fear being indoors. Number 3. Death by strength. Milo of Croton, a renowned wrestler from the 6th century BCE, was celebrated for his incredible strength and unique training methods. Stories circulated about his daily intake, which included 20 pounds of meat, 20 pounds of bread, and 18 pints of wine. One of the tales attributed his wrestling prowess to consuming the gizzard stones of roosters. Legend had it that Milo's strength developed from carrying a calf on his shoulders daily, watching it grow into a full-sized bull. Tragically, Milo's formidable strength eventually led to his downfall. According to historians Strabo and Pausanias, during a stroll in the forest, Milo encountered a split tree trunk. Confident in his strength, he attempted to tear the tree apart by inserting his hands into the crack. However, his hands became stuck, and while immobilized, he fell prey to a pack of wolves. This marked the unexpected and unfortunate end to the legendary wrestler's life. Number 4. Death by molten gold. Marcus Licinius Crassus, a prominent Roman figure, achieved great wealth through military successes and political alliances. Known for defeating the Spartacus-led slave revolt and being part of the first triumvirate with Julius Caesar and Pompey, Crassus also faced controversy for various offenses, including real estate schemes and corruption. Following his defeat by the Parthians at the Battle of Carrhae in 53 BCE, Crassus was forced to drink a goblet of molten gold, symbolizing his great wealth. Another more probable but less exciting version recounts that the molten gold was poured into his mouth after he'd already died. Crassus's misfortunes did not end there. According to Plutarch, after his death, he was beheaded, and his severed head was used as a prop in a theatrical production of Euripides's play The Bacchae. An actor reportedly held up Crassus's head, making it sing a song. Number 5. Death by suffocation. Draco, the first lawmaker in Athens, changed the way laws worked by introducing a strict written code to be followed in court, replacing the old informal system. These laws were so tough that people started using the term draconian. We don't know much about Draco's personal life, but there's a story that says he died in a theater. According to the tale, his fans threw so many hats and cloaks at him that he got buried under them and couldn't breathe, leading to his unfortunate end. Number 6. Death by covered in honey. Mithridates was a young Persian soldier in the army of King Artaxerxes II. In 401 BCE, Mithridates killed Artaxerxes' rival, his brother Cyrus, in a freak accident. The king took credit for slaying the mighty Cyrus himself. So when Mithridates got drunk and told everyone the real story, the enraged king sentenced him to death by Scaphism. What is Scaphism? The ancient Greek historian Plutarch described a gruesome method of execution in which a prisoner would be placed between two hollow logs or rowboats. In this cruel practice, the individual would be soaked in a mixture of milk and honey, not just in the mouth, but all over the face. The condemned person's face would then be exposed to the sun, attracting a swarm of flies that covered it completely. As the person naturally relieved themselves within the confined space, insects and pests would emerge from the filth, entering the body and causing it to decay. Once the victim was unmistakably dead, the top boat would be removed, revealing a scene of flesh consumption and infestation by repugnant creatures within the remains. Mithridates endured for 17 days, enveloped in a mixture of milk, honey, and his own feces, ultimately succumbing to a combination of severe dehydration, starvation, and septic shock. Number 7. Hypatia of Alexandria, a notable Greek mathematician, astronomer, and philosopher, held a respected position as the head of the Neoplatonic school in her city. Living during a turbulent period, she became embroiled in the feud between the Roman governor Orestes and the Christian bishop Cyril of Alexandria. Rumors spread that she supported Orestes in persecuting Christians and Jews. An enraged Christian mob seized Hypatia. They took her to a church where they subjected her to a gruesome ordeal. Stripping her naked, they used sharp oyster shells to tear off her flesh, and she was brutally beaten with tiles. An alternate account by the Christian John of Nicaea acknowledged the mob's actions but displayed less sympathy, emphasizing Hypatia's alleged influence and enchantments that had stirred the city's populace. Number 8. Death by jumping into Volcano. Empedocles, a brilliant philosopher from the 5th century BCE, was known for his intellect, eloquence, and scientific prowess. Despite his acclaim, he also claimed to possess magical abilities, such as curing diseases, halting aging, and manipulating the weather. In an audacious move to prove his newfound divinity, Empedocles reportedly jumped into the active volcano on Mount Etna. His goal was to convince followers that he had become an immortal god, ascending to Olympus. Unfortunately, the volcano didn't fully cooperate, as it spat out one of his sandals, revealing his mortal identity and challenging his divine aspirations. Number 9. Death by Mercury. Qin Shi Huang, the inaugural emperor of the Qin dynasty in ancient China, governed the unified nation from 220 to 210 BCE. His rule left an indelible mark on China, marked by achievements such as the construction of the Great Wall, the establishment of a national highway system, and the creation of the awe-inspiring Terracotta Army. Despite surviving 3 assassination attempts as he aged, Qin Shi Huang became increasingly fixated on discovering the elusive elixir of life that promised immortality. He launched increasingly outlandish schemes to find this elixir, including sending ships filled with hundreds of young men and women off in search of a 1,000-year-old magician on a mystical island. Legend has it, those unwilling explorers were the first to colonize Japan. Ultimately, Qin Shi Huang met his demise by consuming mercury pills, a tragic end brought about by the misguided belief of his court physicians who promised him immortality through this unconventional treatment. Number 10. Death by pride. Heraclitus, a philosopher from the 6th century BCE, who derided Hesiod and Pythagoras as ignorant, and said that Homer deserved to be beaten. He hated his fellow Ephesians so much that he finally quit society entirely. According to the biographer Diogenes Laertius, finally, he became a hater of his kind and wandered the mountains, making his diet of grass and herbs. Heraclitus may have been particularly irritable due to suffering from dropsy, a painful swelling condition. Legend has it that in his quest to find relief, Heraclitus took an unconventional approach by burying himself in cow manure, hoping that the damp humor that plagued him would be drawn out by the warmth of the manure. In some versions of this story, the philosopher suffocated in the heat of the manure. However, according to the historian Neithes of Cyzicus, after covering himself in manure, Heraclitus was devoured by hungry dogs.